one of the things that is in the news is that the governor of New Jersey, Gov Christi, has said, public schools, you want to teach creationism instead of evolution, you want to teach religion instead of science, that's fine with me. Is it? Jerry Zandstra is with us. He's a GOP strategist, ordained pastor, and movie producer of The Genesis Code, the website thegenesiscodemovie.com. And Jerry, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me on.
Why would we be teaching creationism in anything other than a comparative religion class?
Well, I'm not opposed to teaching it in a comparative religion class. But at the same time, we have to realize that science itself involves a whole number of beliefs. We tend to think that science is locked, but science is developing. Things that were believed 100 years ago in science are proven no longer true. Things that were believed 50 years ago, 20 years ago, and even 10 years ago, belief statements that science itself has now proven.
But those belief statements, Jerry, there's a big difference. Those belief statements, if I lift this pen up and drop it on the table, I can, over time, right up now to string theory, there have been a whole variety of theories about, and many of them have been proved wrong, about what gravity is. But they're all based on observation. What you're promoting is something that is said by one sect of one religion. I mean, even by and large, I'd say that probably the majority of Christianity doesn't subscribe to this notion that only came out in the late 19th century, that the world is only 6,000 years old, and that supposedly came from the Word of God. That's a completely different thing from observing natural phenomenon and coming up with explanations for it based on a rational basis.
You set this up as kind of a false dichotomy that either you teach science or you teach creationism. And you've defined creationism.
No, Gov Christi has said you can teach both, and you can teach them in a science class, and I think that's wrong and it's stupid.
But creationism you're defining as people that believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old and was created in 6 days. And I doubt very much that, and I don't know Governor Christie, but I doubt very much that that's what the governor is advocating.
Well, then how are you defining creationism?
I think the idea that God had a hand in creation. And this is not limited to Christianity. This is certainly in global religions around the world.
Oh, and sure. I mean, you've got the flying spaghetti monster. You've got the great turtle. Why don't we teach all of those too?
Those are a bit ridiculous examples.
No, those are not ridiculous examples. The flying spaghetti monster is. There's actually a lot of people in the United States who are cleaving to that religion. You can Google it. It's got a lot of followers. And the giant turtle was believed by probably the majority of occupants of this continent for tens of thousands of years before we showed up, and some still do. The idea that all of creation came out of a lotus that came out of Vishnu's navel is believed by over 1 billion people, more people than believe in creationism.
Right.
You're just saying that they're all wrong and you're right, and therefore yours should be taught as science. That doesn't make any sense.
It's funny, Tom. I don't remember saying that. But what I would say is...
Well, that's what Governor Christie is essentially saying.
Hold on. What you're looking at here is, number one, what is the origin of the universe? And number two, what is the origin of the human species? And it just seems really close-minded to me that you would say in a discussion of the origin of the universe and in a discussion of the origin of the human species that all of the religions of the world, 6,000 years of religious thought and philosophical thought cannot be legally part of that discussion. It seems to me that...
Well, all of the religions of the world, first of all, are not 6,000 years old.
It seems to me that people that want to eliminate any discussion of faith in the context of looking at the origins of the universe, it seems to me that those people are really close-minded, and it looks to me like the left looks a whole lot more like the Sorbonne and the Inquisition. If academia is supposed to be a place of freedom and inquiry, as we look at the origin
we're talking about science classes here, Jerry. I'm sorry. We're not talking about academia in general. We have already agreed that if we're going to have a comparative religion class, that it should be teaching, the Great Turtle Theory. It should be teaching your creationism theory. It should be teaching, we came out of the lotus from Vishnu's belly button theory. It should be teaching all the various creation stories, creation myths of all the various religions in the world. That's fine. But in a science class, I don't have a problem if a science teacher says, nobody knows what was before the universe came along, and there are a lot of theories about this, some that are explained by religion. But that's not teaching creationism. That's simply, acknowledging actually a scientific fact, that nobody knows. I mean, there's a debate within the scientific community that now superstring theory suggests that there's actually a whole series of universes, bubbles, foam basically, and that one universe becomes another, and all this. I mean, who knows?
I think that's absolutely wonderful stuff. I think anybody that wants to talk scientifically about the origins of the universe or the origins of the human species that leaves out science is making a huge mistake.
But it's not the origin of the universe stuff where this is focused, and you and I both know it. That's a red herring. It's the origin of the human species. It's this theory that humans are somehow set apart from all other animals, that we are not part of this earth, that we uniquely have souls and nothing else does, and that we uniquely have to behave in a particular way and worship a particular god, or we're going to be just screwed for all of eternity.
You're saying to me, when it comes to the origins of the universe and the origins of human beings, that when that discussion takes place in a science class, you don't want to allow in. You want to keep your mind closed and the student's mind closed.
I want to keep science to science. I don't want it in a math class. I could see it in comparative literature, perhaps, if we're comparing the literature. But it has no role in a science class. It has no role in a math class. It has no role in a trig class. No, it's stupid to put it there. It's about religion.
So you're saying that the string theory that you've just put forward, that's all based on observation, Tom?
No, the string theory is actually based on a mathematical formula. I haven't seen any math in the Bible.
There's math in the Bible, and on a whole series of beliefs. It is a theory. It is string theory.
It is not based on. It is based on a series of propositions and theses, not beliefs.
Or beliefs.
No, they're not beliefs.
Christianity isn't based on a series of propositions and theories.
Well, now we're splitting words here, Jerry, and we're out of time.
Because you're using them wrong. We're splitting because you're not being correct in your definition.
All right. I'll leave you with the last word. Jerry Zandstra, thegenesiscodemovie.com is the website. Jerry, thanks for being on today.
All right. Thanks, Tom.